Kia ora. It's Politics from Canterbury. It's a Sunday, and we're just going to have a general chat, if you don't mind. I mean, if you get the viewership up, we'll work harder. But tonight, we're just going to have a general chat about, basically, I'm going to throw it out. Yep. What are the different political parties campaigning on? Go first, and I'm Kevin, history guy, Liam, history guy, Jared, history guy, and we're starting with Jared. Can you tell me what ACT's campaigning on?
Something along, income tax, isn't it? Capital gains, isn't it?
No, I'm pretty certain. They oppose capital gains. I think ACT are campaigning against public servants. They're basically trying to reduce the number of public servants. And David Seymour made the rather unfortunate comment that he thought Guy Fawkes should wander into the Ministry of Pacific Peoples. Firstly, Guy Fawkes was a Catholic and he's dead, so he's not going to be walking anywhere. He was executed in about 1560, a long time ago.
1605.
1605. Yeah. Thank you, Liam, for that historical accurate.
I think you're
right.
Yeah,
I think it was the early 17th century. Guy Fawkes was executed. Either way, no one on this political podcast condones that sort of language. Mm. So there's ACT, reducing the public service. Liam, what about National? What do you think they're campaigning on?
They're campaigning to get New Zealand back on track, but this is like true. I'd really love to get, because I think he looks like the fat controller. Yeah. I'd love to get him like a little bowler hat and over who's
Christopher Luxon we're talking about.
Yeah, but who's his deputy?
Nicola Willis.
Yeah, I'd love to get her like just the Thomas the Tank Engine sticker, but it's about putting New Zealand back on track. So
without railways.
Yeah, without railways. But my question is, like, to where? Like, what is the right track that we?
The right track is nothing to do with railway tracks with National. The right track is more roads. So this is where
we need better railways.
ACT Party.
That's a good point.
For political literates, ACT Party is reducing public servants and potentially joking about blowing up different ministries.
Any racial division, supposedly?
Oh, yeah, good point.
Division by race?
I did see an ACT billboard today. They're ending division by race, or their view of division by race. May not be everyone's. National's about roads, and Labour's about
them done in an hour or something like that.
Yeah, Labour's about GST of fruit and vegetables. Now, what do we think about GST of fruit and vegetables? The big Labour policy.
The question that I have is, why is it seen as being kind of like an effective means of putting money back in the pockets of the poor? Just because, but like it'll benefit everyone. But why is everyone so against it? And they're saying that it's not going to achieve what people think it will. Is there any,
Okay, well, here's my thought. We've had a little focus group and we've had a little bit of like confusion about what people are doing.
Yeah.
But everyone knows Labour's taking GST of fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
Because it's simple. Everyone now understands it. So people can say, 11 economists you've never heard of and maybe a few hundred people in Auckland read the article about the economists. But I think that the clever thing about the GST of fruit and vegetables, it's got nothing to do with people's back pockets and stuff. It's that it's simple to understand, because a lot of the policies that the parties are putting out are really confusing and hard to understand. The Green Party, I know, have got the wealth tax, but the other one, there's some sort of rebate.
Free tooth,
dental care. Yeah, okay. So the Green Party is quite good because you can.
As much as I hate Greens, that's a pretty good policy. I'd vote for that.
We're politically neutral. We don't hate any political party.
We just colour.
We observe a bar roasted. Yeah. So okay, but forget the actual ins and outs of the GST of fruit and vegetables. We all remember that. Is that the one we remember the most?
When you ask policies and then you
GST
gave me ACT, I was like, really.
Maintaining three waters.
Getting rid of three waters, I think.
I'm saying Labour wants to maintain three waters.
Labour would, absolutely want to maintain it. National would want to get rid of it.
Yeah, out of back their own train wreck.
Yeah. So, we're just going back to the GST of fruit and vegetables. What do we all think about it? Jared, your view. Loudly, speak up to the camera. Our cheap microphone.
I think overall, my opinions on the policy are, I like the direction, because I've always been in my mind thinking GST on food is good, but what gets me is that in democracy, he's losing and he comes forward and he's like, if you vote us back in, we'll take GST off food. And it's like, why don't you just do it, Mr. Prime Minister? Why don't you just...
Good point, actually.
Why don't you just do it right now? You can. You got the majority in the parliament. Just do it, and then people will like you. Why does it have to be a loaded gun against people's heads in New Zealand?
Yeah, because if they just do it, then the other parties have to say, no, we hate it so much we have to undo it. So that's a good point. Liam, you on the fruit and veggies?
I'm incredibly for it. I think any reduction of tax on poor people is a good thing. But I'm obviously the counterpoint. I think, therefore, that the rich should be taxed more.
Okay, but what do we think of organisations like our friends, the Taxpayers Union? Shout out to Porky there. What do we think of them being against it? Because I thought the Taxpayers Union wanted less tax. So why, when some people say, how about we pay less tax, why are they against it?
What is the Taxpayers Union?
The Taxpayers Union is a lobby group.
Yeah, libertarian group. Very much for removing, reducing the size of government and saying that.
And reducing tax, I thought.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense.
They're of the opinion that tax is thievery, kind of shit. Sorry, kind of stuff.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to point out is some people, like Matthew Hooton, a notorious political pundit, has sort of gone on about what about the tax off, I think he was making the point, caviar, no truffles, because truffles are very expensive. I guess they could be called a fruit or a vegetable. I think they're a fruit. Anyway, what about the tax off truffles? Fungus. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. He was saying that, they would lose money. It would, or those that love truffles would win by this particular tax. But the interesting thing with the argument, I think, made by some people is that national, their tax cuts advantage the rich.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you actually like your really expensive fruit and vegetables and you are rich, I guess you are advantaged. But shouldn't National really support that then?
Yeah,
because their own tax cuts support the wealthy. Did that make sense?
I think, though, it's mainly because... Actually, yeah, because what you're saying is, because if you reduce the tax on things, then I think people will obviously spend more, possibly buy more food. So therefore, the big kind of food lobbies or whatever would actually benefit by reducing the tax. And they'll be big pals with National. Yeah, no, you make a good point, actually. Why would National not support the reduction of... I just think because they understand that they need to bring in income or money some way, but they need to, they don't want to take it from their pals. Pretty much that's the...
They can't sell off any national assets.
Yeah, and just because 10 or 11 economists I haven't heard of don't like it, I think it's quite a good political policy. And I'll also say one thing, if you go to those big markets, the big fruit and veggie markets, maybe you'll get a real saving. So we quite like fruit and veggies. We're succinct, we're short, we don't want to talk forever, but we do want to bring it back straight out on Ireland. That's where we roll. We roll on Ireland, and coming up, we've got a debate. There's a debate. There's a debate organised again by the Taxpayers Union, and we're not actually funded by the Taxpayers Union. I have mentioned them a lot. There's a debate coming up in late August in Ireland, and it's going to be pitting Hamish Campbell, the National candidate, versus Ralph Manji, the top leader.
Seen his board around, eh?
Yeah.
Hamish Campbell.
No, Ralph Manji.
Ralph Manji. We've seen Ralph Manji. And Sarah Palin, I think, is the Labour candidate, and Mike Davidson, anyway, as the Green candidate. That's all I know. There's 4 candidates. So, Ireland. Who's going to win Ireland? By the way, I believe I know a recent poll, and there's a lot of people that beat around the bush and say we don't release the polls. I'm going to say Hamish Campbell, late 20s, Sarah Palin and Ralph Manji, mid to low 20s. That's what I'm saying. Let's see when the polls come out, if I'm correct.
Campbell for the win.
No, I'm saying the internal polling. I'm saying the internal polling at the moment may show that Hamish Campbell is late 20s. It doesn't mean he's for the win, because if we remember Chloe Schwarber, she was polling early 20s versus Labour's candidate was polling, I think, high 30s, 40s. Basically, Chloe Schwarber pushed ahead and won. So the fact that if Ralph Manji is in the early 20s and is around the same area as Sarah Palin, I think it could be game on. But maybe I'm just trying to push something that is, in a very dull election, I'm trying to push Ireland as being more interesting than it is. Do we have any thoughts on what a big issue in Ireland is?
I I don't live in Ireland right now, so I haven't spent much time there recently.
How about the article
litter
I
in
just
the park? Litter in the park.
Litter in the park?
Litter in the park.
Chlorination of drinking water.
I reckon chlorination of the drinking water is going to be big in Ireland. They have just closed the Burnside. So I'm sorry if you're in the rest of New Zealand and you don't care about Ireland. We care about Ireland and the 100 or so people that do. They've closed the drinking fountain.
Oh no, that's a crime.
Yeah, well, it's a hot day.
That is a total crime.
Yeah,
that's a crime.
So
I think chlorination will be a big issue in Ireland.
Is there like a fountain that gives out non-chlorinated water?
Yeah. There's a non-chlorinated. Basically, all of Christchurch is now chlorinated.
Yeah.
There is a little tiny non-chlorinated drinking fountain where those that enjoy their non-chlorinated water go. Well, that's been closed.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing.
Where does the water come
Is there
from?
fluoride as well in it?
No, I don't think we've got fluoride
We got
yet.
nitrates though.
Oh man.
We do potentially have nitrates.
Sure.
The water comes from glacial springs of
Yeah.
pure goodness, and I see a lot of people turning up to that water fountain, filling the little plastic receptacles with water. It's well utilised. And what I want to know, I want all the candidates. I want their position on chlorinated water, and I want all the candidates to say what they would do about that fountain that is now closed for those hot summer cricketing days or tennis, whatever sport you want.
Coming straight out of Ireland.
Could we just get our last? Here's a last quick
Straight out
thought
of
on it.
Ireland.
Joe, your thoughts on Ireland?
Ireland, great place. Love the Riverside Market sort of thing they have every Sunday.
Oh,
it
the
called?
Dean's. You mean like a Dean's Bush?
Yeah.
Dean's Bush, yeah.
Lovely.
I'm not sure that's in the Island Electric, close to, but not sure it is. Liam?
It's a few letters away from my name, so why not? I love it.
Cool. Thank you very much for that
Liam.
focus on
Yeah.
politics.